Welcome to The Rest is Giant Robots, a conversation through the careers of writer Simon Furman and artist Andrew Wildman. Recollections and revelations about the highs and the lows as creatives in comics, books, games, film and TV.
Hello everyone, welcome to episode 42 of The Rest is Giant Robots. I'm Simon Furman.
And I'm Andrew Wildman.
Welcome back, and we're going to be, as we've been telling our Prime Video viewers, we're going to be doing another one of our periodic roundups of what we've been watching on the big and small screen.
Yeah, and not long since the Oscars as well, isn't it? Which is quite interesting because certain... I don't know about you, but in my local cinema, we had some of the Oscar winner movies. They then put on another screening of, because they'd had them there already and they'd been and gone.
Yeah,
Sinners was an example. They just had one screening of Sinners, just for people to come and see.
I've heard it's very good. I've not seen it, but you can talk about that in a bit.
Yeah,
and it's definitely one of those. There's a lot of good stuff out there. And a lot of good stuff on the small screen as well. So yeah, let's sort of jump in whenever we're ready. I think one of the ones you were talking about last time that I hadn't seen was The Housemaid.
Okay,
which you'd seen and I hadn't, and I think you kind of talked briefly about it. But I went to see that and I really enjoyed it. I thought it was, fantastically over the top. And and some of it you could kind of see coming. There's a little scene at the beginning where Anna Seyfried, she's showing
Seyfried. Apparently you pronounce it Seyfried, she says.
Seyfried, okay.
Anna Seyfried. A lot of people used to say Seyfried, but it's Seyfried.
And she's showing Sydney Sweeney around, and there's a little spiral staircase, and she said, "Oh yes, I always worry about this staircase. It's quite a drop." And I'm thinking, oh well, that's going to come into play at some point then, isn't it?
Bit of signposting, but it's set it all up. Everything you see in a movie has a purpose. It's like, if there's a shotgun on the wall, if somebody's going to use it at some point. That's the law.
But in the end, I enjoyed it. It was kind of nutty, and then it sort of flips around and goes another way, and you're like, oh wow, and then yet another sort of twist at the end, if you like. But I enjoyed it. I thought it was just it didn't care that it was a sort of it was nutty. It was just it's kind of enjoyably nutty.
It kind of was. It was very much. I thought Amanda Seyfried was really good. Sydney Sweeney was good in a very, very different way. They were. They weren't different in as much as sometimes you can get two characters that are playing it so different that it's like they're not in the same movie. But they were very much in the same movie. But they kind of, you could tell they were really like leaning into it. They were enjoying what they were doing. There's that scene where Amanda Seyfried has like this fit, breakdown, anger kind of, was just like, whoa! I thought that was so good.
And it almost feels like she does it in the same take. Goes from completely normal to raving and screaming.
Yeah.
And she did it so well that I was really impressed with her particularly, but. I thought the film it reminded me a little bit of that sort of vogue there was in the 80s for those slightly sort of steamy thrillers and things, the Joe Esterhaus sort of stable of Jagged Edge and Basic Instinct. And it had that sort of vibe to it.
It did, yeah. Yeah, it did. And I think one of the other things that made it seem not dated. It didn't look dated. It looked contemporary, but it did feel like almost like it was a remake of an old film in a way. It wasn't, but you could kind of feel that maybe just because it had so many echoes of films from the 80s and 90s. But there was, I mean, the sex scenes in it were pretty steamy, and you don't see that now. The current trend in
No.
Hollywood is not for sex, and certainly not nudity. I mean, there are kind of exceptions, but generally you don't get that, because in the 80s and 90s, you very definitely, yeah, they were far steamier and hot, you know.
Yeah.
So it had those elements.
Yes, it did. It just felt like they deliberately tried to make a sort of a modern version of that old, sort of 80s, 90s, somewhat steamy thriller.
Yeah. Did you feel, one of the things I didn't like about, actually, one of the things I really did like about it was that scene outside the bedroom upstairs where Sydney Sweeney was breaking the crockery. That's
Yes. Yeah. Yes.
That was,
Yeah.
I love that scene. It was just so well played and just so funny and but tense as well. It was really good.
And it
The
was
bit, I
kind
don't
of
know how you
funny,
were
wasn't
in
it?
terms of narrative, but the bit that I found a little bit clunky was the really, really long exposition when they were, kind of revealing what had been
Yes.
going on. It was far too long.
Yeah, it was. It was like, oh god, yes, it took a lot of retelling, didn't it?
Yeah.
From once you're seeing the thing. Yeah. And yes, and Amanda Seyfried of old didn't quite marry up to me with the version we see in the film.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, I mean, I think it was a minor quibble, but yes, it spent far too long on that kind of, and here's all the stuff you didn't see before.
Yeah, yeah, which kind of, when you have to have that much exposition and reveals of things that weren't there in the first place, I mean, it's fine, but it does make you think, okay, I'd like it to play out so I could kind of work it out for myself.
Yeah. Yes, I think it could have done with less of that. I didn't quite buy, often the endings get a bit sort of hysterical and over involved almost.
Yeah.
There were elements I thought, you could have done this much quicker and cleaner at the end, but
Yeah.
otherwise I enjoyed it.
And it was a very sisterhood kind of movie, wasn't it? It was very
Yes.
anti-male. I mean, the male character, yeah, he's, the way it played out was fine, and it was good, and the resolve was good, etc., etc. But he was so two-dimensional.
Yes. Yeah. Well, once you flip the camera around, it's sort of everyone in it sort of goes from normal to homicidal, in the blink of an eye. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, it was kind of fun.
What else you got?
What else? What else have you seen?
I
What else have you seen at the cinema first?
Okay, so at the cinema. Okay. So I have seen Sinners. Like I said, I saw Sinners because I
Yeah.
didn't see it when it came up first time round. I don't know why I didn't see it. Because it was a film that I wanted to see, and when they decided that they were going to do another screening of it in my little cinema in town, I was like, yeah, that's it. So I booked my usual seats, which it turns out. So in the cinema, there are two screens, and they're roughly 50 seats each screen, and they're armchairs. It's really, really plush armchairs, and then the front row have got footstools as well. So when I became a founder member, they put a plaque on the seat that you're sort of sponsoring. It's not actually on the seat; it's on like a tiny little table thing where you can put your drink. So I've got Andrew Wildman, the storyboard artist, on there, and they said, "Well, which seat do you want?" Because I was the first one in. Do you want your plaque on seat A1? And I was like, "No, I want it on A5." And they're like, "Why do you want it on A5?" And I said, because it's right at the front and right in the middle. It is the best seat in the house.
Yeah.
And they were like, oh, okay, we'll do that. Anyway, but it turns out that when I book it, A5 and A6, which is the seats that I always book for me and whoever's my plus one, usually Leslie, are the two designated disabled seats. Because they're designed to be able to pull out so you can get a wheelchair in there.
Oh no.
So I mean, it hasn't happened yet, but there's potentially a situation that, like, they let you book it when you go online. They let you book the seat, but if a disabled person comes along, they will then move you to a different seat. It hasn't happened yet, but it's like, why did it have to be those two? I don't. Although maybe I'll need it at some point. I have no idea.
I was going to say, I think you could be soon make a case, you know.
But
Yeah.
Anyway, so Leslie wasn't that bothered about going to see it. My other movie-going buddy, guy called Jim, who he works for the police. He's great, and he's on really awkward shifts. But anyway, it turned out that then he couldn't come and see it either. So I took daughter number one, Esther. She wanted to come and see it. Now, the last film I went to see with Esther was with Leslie as well, but three seats. We went to see it. We didn't really know what it was about. It was this, apparently really, really cool film with Demi Moore, and we didn't really know much about it. But of course,
the substance.
Substance, yeah. And towards the end, Esther she was wearing I think she got a scarf on because it was a little while ago. She'd literally just got it pulled up over her face and most of the time over her eyes as well, especially that whole kind of end sequence.
Yeah.
And she really enjoyed it, but I mean, she's a proper grown-up. It's not like she can't take it,
No.
but
it's incredibly, grossly over the top. It did amuse me. It's another one I felt went on way too long, but there you go.
Yeah, but anyway, so she wanted to go and see Sinners, but she was a bit like, is it going to be really scary? I was like, I've no idea. I don't really. I know a lot about it, but I don't know what level of scariness it's going to be. But then afterwards, when we'd finished, I mean, she absolutely loved it, as did I. But she did say, well, it's nowhere near as scary as I thought it would be. And I think you're kind of led to believe that it's like pretty much full on horror, but it really isn't. It's so much more than that. Like for at least the first half of the movie, it is almost like an historical, southern states of America, Black community culture piece. It's fantastic. There's so much in it, and so much of the narrative is about the power of music and communication through music. And there's a scene in this kind of juke joint that this guy who's the Michael B. Jordan character, who Michael B. Jordan plays twins. I didn't even realize. I knew he was in it, but I'd never heard who the name of was the other guy that plays his twin. I was like, okay, well, maybe it's somebody I've never heard of. And I was watching it, and then after a while, I thought, they look so much alike. That's amazing casting. And then it was like, duh. Of course, it's the same guy. Anyway, so he sets up this juke joint, and before all everybody knows it's not a spoiler. Before all the vampire stuff happens, there's this incredible scene where this young musician, or this young lad who plays the guitar, who's the key character in the whole movie. He plays the guitar like blues guitarist, and he's really, really young, and he sings, and he's doing a performance, and then a lot of other people join in, and then you suddenly notice that there are other characters coming into it. Like there's a Jimi Hendrix type character with an electric guitar, so they're completely not period accurate. But then it shows like African dancers, tribes. It's amazing the level of music, and you really get a sense of the cultural thread of what eventually became the blues in the Black community. Yeah. It's so powerful. And then it turns into a vampire movie.
Yeah. Yes, it does a sort of dusk till dawn.
It does, yeah. But the way that it uses kind of vampire lore, etc., is very, very powerful. I thought it was interesting that it got all those nominations, all those Oscar nominations, and it's like, okay, it's not gonna win that many Oscars, It was great that it got that amount of attention in terms of nominations, but I was thinking, I hope it does at least win 2, because if not, it's going to look so much like tokenism in terms of nominations. And I'm not sure necessarily Michael B. Jordan was the best actor this year, really. I mean, he did it well, and he was playing 2 people, and he fooled me, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, one of the just in terms of the optics around this thing, I think the best actor in it was God, his name's escaped me now. The guy that was in 28 Years Later.
Oh yes,
Jack McDonald. No, Jack. Oh hell, what's his name? Anyway, whatever. Look him up.
Yes.
I don't care. He was really good. He was so good. But it's a good movie. Definitely, I'm so glad that I did go and see it in the cinema. I mean, it would be great on TV, but to see it in the cinema was very good. That kind of sound quality, and because the cinematography was so good, nice to see it on the big screen.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely want to see it. It will probably have to be on the small screen now, but I've heard so many good things about it.
It's good, and the final. I didn't see this coming, but the final denouement, like resolve right at the very end. I don't know if it's. I think the credits start to roll before it shows. So if you don't bail out when the credits start, I think it's one of those. It's not right at the very end, but it's after some of the credits come up, if I remember rightly. Is so key and so nicely resolved. It's clever movie.
Yeah. Okay, good. Yeah, I will check it out. So my next cinema one is that I saw is Send Help, which, you know, I more or less went to see because it's directed by Sam Raimi. I just love his films.
Yeah.
Drag Me to Hell, A Simple Plan, the Evil Dead stuff, of course, the first Spider-Man. Really good. He's a really good filmmaker, and so I thought, great, I'm up for this. And I kind of like the loose premise, which is, put upon female worker ends up with the boss from hell on a desert island.
Yeah.
And turns the tables. It's a kind of turn the tables kind of movie. And so I look forward to it, and I wasn't disappointed. But weirdly, it's like a film of two halves, but it's not two halves. But the opening bit where they establish Rachel McAdams as this put upon, sort of slightly drudgy office worker, felt so different from the rest of the film. It felt slightly ham-fisted or overdone. Whether that was the point, I don't know. But it felt like a sort of heightened reality, or for the, hard of thinking or something. It's like, we're going to make this so crystal clear. Right. He's a sort of awful boss, and she's a worker who should be getting promoted and isn't, and all those things.
Yeah.
And honestly, it felt sledgehammer, the sort of opening office stuff. And then once they get on the plane and the plane crashes and they end up on this desert island, it turns into a much, much better movie, really fun. And again, like The Housemaid, it has some neat flips in the sort of narrative that you don't necessarily see coming.
Yeah. I mean, Rachel McAdams, she's great. I really like her. I think she's really, really good. But I guess she's known for quite light stuff in a way. Maybe they were assuming that the Rachel McAdams audience was going to needed a little bit of prompting as to what was actually going on. I don't know. But
yeah, I don't know. It just felt weird because I saw it with Anna, my wife, and during the office scenes, we sort of looked sideways at each other and just thought, oh no, what have we come to see? And like I say, I don't know whether it was done for effect. That's the kind of thing they wanted this thing to be, slightly sort of, we're in on the joke from the start, but it just gets much, much better once they're on the desert island. And it's got lots of lovely Sam Raimi, because he's a horror film director, really.
Yeah.
Although, A Simple Plan, there's no horror whatsoever. It's just a crime movie. But and if you've never seen A Simple Plan, I thoroughly recommend it.
I haven't. I'm going to write that down.
Yeah, it's Bill Paxton and Billy Bob Thornton, and I think Bridget Fonda.
Okay.
And it's just really good. It's a simple premise, and it's spoiling nothing to say these brothers find a crashed plane with some money in it, and it's just how that sort of basic setup, it just gets twistier and knottier. It plays a bit like a Coen Brothers film.
Okay, good.
Like a Fargo or something. But it's really good. Anyway, I love Sam Raimi's films. Drag Me to Hell is also well worth your time in a sort of over-the-top horror grossness. But, I really enjoyed it. It had lots of his flourishes in it. It's very bloody and, sort of almost sort of gratuitously horrible in places. But we really, both of us really enjoyed it.
Okay.
And there's a sort of flip flop in the way that there is. Maybe all films have to do this now, sort of. But I thoroughly recommend. It was well worth your money.
Yeah, well, I'll definitely check that out. That sounds good. Sounds very good. What else have we got then?
Well, one of the things I flagged up and you flagged up was the new Peaky Blinders on Netflix.
Yes, Peaky Blinders.
Yes, and I was just thought, oh god, it's a long time since I've seen Peaky Blinders. Obviously the original series finished a while ago, and I sort of found it went on again a bit to the point where I wasn't as invested in the characters anymore. But certainly once who played Aunt Polly? What's her name? Once she'd gone, it didn't feel as cohesive.
Yeah.
Oh God, what's her name? Anyway, we're not doing well with our.
We're not doing well with it, are we? It was Helen McCrory.
Yep. But I mean, actually, I enjoyed it. I thought it took too long to get going, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
You're almost halfway through before sort of Cillian Murphy comes back into it in a proper way.
Yeah.
And I just thought it I don't remember there being that much of the sort of Romany gypsy kind of mysticism to it before,
really?
Or superstition.
Okay. Yeah.
But I mean, I enjoyed it. I thought it was really well filmed and shot. It looked so good. All the locations and sets looked really good. The sort of crumbling sort of manor house that he's hiding out in Ireland, and the bombed out munitions factory. Really sort of moody environments. And I thought the guy they got to play his son, Duke, was really good bit of casting.
Barry Keoghan, yeah. I mean, Barry Keoghan is Irish, so he kind of fits. I know we think of him as Hollywood a bit, but he kind of fits the vibe, doesn't he?
Yeah, and really good. And actually, I really enjoyed it. It is a film a bit of two halves, and I enjoyed the second half far more. But it was interesting. It felt, and I'm not going to spoil anything, it felt like it ended the only way it could end. I was really pleased it ended the way it did, let's put it that way.
Yeah, and it's kind of handing over to what will be the new TV series, isn't it? So Netflix are doing a Peaky Blinders TV series.
Oh, I didn't realise that.
Yeah, but I think what they're doing is they're moving it So what was the period setting for the movie?
Well, it's the
Second World
40.
War.
It's Second World War. It's 1940 because
That's right. Yeah, because
it's
there's
about the kind of counterfeit money sort of
that's right.
thing.
Yeah.
And I mean, the original series was obviously post First World War, wasn't it? Because he's having all those sort of tunnel nightmares from his time, which they do nod to in the new movie.
Yeah.
His sort of fear of confined spaces and things.
Yeah, they definitely use that as part of the narrative. It's quite nice that they do bring that, because that was from the original series, like you say, in the 20s, like post First World War, that was a key part of his personality, as one of his, not flaws as such, but one of the things that kind of affected him so much. So I think it was good that they brought that in as a key part of it. The new series apparently is going to, I think it's going to be set in the 50s. So so although Barry Keoghan came in and played Duke, because his son, like Tommy Shelby's son, had appeared in the TV series, but it was a different actor. But they obviously felt like they needed to get some weight into it. I mean, there are people that have appeared in the TV series. I mean, obviously, Cillian Murphy is a movie actor.
And so's Tim Roth, who's in it. So,
yeah, exactly. And so they needed to get some weight in it. I mean, Rebecca Ferguson as well. I mean, she's in everything, and she's always good. She kind of fulfilled the Polly role in a way, to bring that kind of gypsy magic thing back into it.
yes.
So I thought that was quite nice. It didn't feel like, in many ways, it didn't feel like Peaky Blinders for quite a while. I know you said you felt that it started off slow, and it kind of did, but you often need to do that to kind of introduce the narrative and introduce the characters. But for me, it was more to do with the cinematography. It like the pub. The outside of the pub kind of looked the same, but didn't look the same. I mean, I think it must have been a different set build. The inside kind of looked the same, but didn't feel the same. And I know it's a movie, and it had a very kind of filmic quality to it rather than TV, but it took a while to get into it was very grainy and gritty and quite sparse.
Yeah.
Whereas the TV series always felt quite lush and, but I thought it was great. I really loved it. Yeah. And
I enjoyed
absolutely,
it.
like you say, the ending was perfect. I mean, you just couldn't have ended it in any way better, really.
No. And yes, it's just sort of, I had a horrible feeling it might go for another ending, and I was pleased when that's it. Sort of will draw a bit of a line there.
And I presume it was the same when you saw it at the beginning. There's that intro spoken piece by Cillian Murphy saying no spoilers. Which is why we're not saying too much about it. But
no, we're trying to be careful about that, and it's only a newish thing. So but yes, well worth your time checking out, I would say.
And going forward, I think what's really interesting about Peaky Blinders, just in terms of cinema, is Stephen Knight, the writer of Peaky Blinders, is going to be writing the new Bond movie, which makes you think, what's he going to be doing with that then?
Yeah, that's interesting, because I didn't like House of Guinness at all.
No, I didn't. No,
it just felt a mess and not very well. I mean, we only ended up watching the first couple of episodes because I was just like, I can't watch this anymore, which is not good. But yes, let's hope it was back to form with Peaky, that's for sure. So
I think there's something about the what's at the heart of the characters with Peaky Blinders that House of Guinness just didn't have. House of Guinness was like all the gloss of Peaky Blinders and the style, the stylizing and the kind of lighting and everything, but none of the substance.
No.
But I think it'll be interesting to see what Stephen Knight does with Bond. and with with Denis Villeneuve directing. I mean, I can't wait.
Yeah, yeah. No, me too. I'm always up for some more Bonds. So
Yeah,
yeah,
definitely.
definitely. So what else have I seen? I have seen I Swear, the movie. Well, it was a movie not long ago, but I saw it on streaming, and I
Mm.
really enjoyed it. Have you seen it?
Well, after when we messaged the other day, and you said on your little list on WhatsApp that that was one of the films you've seen, I didn't. It came to the cinema and it ran for quite a while, and I wanted to go and see it, and I couldn't. I couldn't find the time. Wasn't around. I was in London a lot of the time. I didn't see it. So, but because you said that you'd seen it, I watched it last night.
Oh, good. Oh, okay. And
I thought I thought the to start with, it kind of annoyed me slightly because like Robert Aramayo is great. I mean, he's a really good actor. He's got a particular look to him, it was perfect casting.
mm,
And Maxine Peake is a fantastic actor. But
yeah,
I I always struggle with Shirley Henderson. You know, the
mm,
character's mother. She's always a bit weird.
yes,
But anyway, maybe she's just like that. But it felt really clunky, like a TV show. It was the
hmm,
lines were awkward, and they didn't the stuff around the dinner table um with his father. You know, his father getting angry, and
yeah,
I just thought I'm not convinced by any of these people at all. But I
mm,
think maybe 20 minutes in and then when the heart of the movie started to really come out, it was so
mm,
powerful,
yeah.
really moving. Yeah,
I mean, I think it was an eye opener because you think of all these conditions. That's one of the most difficult to live with in many ways.
yeah,
Sort of because, and for the people who have it, it's. I mean, it's just difficult. Hold down a job, anything, and I think it did a good job of bringing that home. I kind of agree with you that the bit where he's a younger boy felt like they were just trying to get through that
yeah,
to get the time jump to the time jump and stuff. And once
yeah.
you get to the time jump, it becomes much more compelling, the whole thing.
I thought the lad that played, or the young man who played him younger,
Mhm.
I thought he was really good. Um, just the way he kind of gradually went from normal school kid and then started developing all the tics and everything, and to act that kind of stuff, you've got to be really convincing. And I thought he did it. I thought he did it really, really well. But I just thought the people around him didn't carry it well
No,
enough. But there we go.
I mean, I find Shirley Henderson a bit one note. You know, she she always seems to play the same character, whatever she's in. I saw her in a thing recently, a kind of Channel 4 drama thing about a group of families by a lake.
Summer Water.
Um, that's it. Thank you.
I
Yes, and she's
storyboarded
in
it.
that. Oh, yes, you did. That's right. We've talked about this, and she's in that, and it's just like oh, good, she's doing the same performance again. This
Yeah,
slightly sort of twitchy, nervous mouse performance. I mean, she's really good. I loved her in. I can't think of the name of it. It's something like Charles II, The Pride and the Passion, or something. But she's the Portuguese wife of
right.
Charles II. She's brilliant in that, and it was the first time I'd seen her in something.
Mm.
Power and the Passion, Pride and the Passion, something. Anyway, but I since then she always seems to play slightly the same role to me.
Yeah, yeah. I think that kind of weird, fragile, creepy thing that she does. It. I mean, it was okay. It was okay in I Swear, and as a mother, she clearly couldn't cope at all
Mm,
with the whole family, let alone having a Tourette's son.
yeah,
Um, but when she plays, I've seen her in things where she's playing people who are just a little bit twisted, and you just can't trust them. And that's when her particular characterizations really come out well, because you just think she's
yes,
actually terrifying.
yes. But overall, I thought I thought it was it hit all the right emotional notes. It was powerful, and it sort of made you aware of it, which I'm sure is half the point of the
Yes.
film, is to make you aware of just what it's like living with Tourette's or living with someone with Tourette's. And I found
Yeah.
the little scene at the end where he speaks in front of a whole audience of people with Tourette's and their parents and
Yeah.
other. I thought it was just really well done, the whole thing,
Yeah.
and good. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a good bit of filmmaking.
Yeah. I can only assume that all the other people in it who did suffer from Tourette's were actually real life Tourette's sufferers.
Yeah,
And if that is the case, which is great. I mean, you know, for them to be there as part of that voice, I thought was really good. But if that is the case, the scene he played with the girl whose parents brought her to meet him,
yeah.
was really really good. They played off
Oh yeah.
against each other so well when they were sitting in the car.
Oh, the car is just so brilliant.
You can't help but laugh at it because,
No.
and I think when you know what's happening, in some ways it gives you more permission to laugh because you know that they don't mean any of this stuff. And so
Well,
when they've had a bit of an episode, even they kind of laugh a bit, thinking, "Oh, I shouldn't have said that," you know.
No.
But
I mean, and the sheer inventiveness of the swearing is, it's like, wow, it's if this was an Olympic sport, you'd be right up there at the gold medal level of this. It's not just ordinary swearing. It's like I'm just thinking, wow, I'm impressed by the range of it in this film.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, it was good.
After what happened at the BAFTAs, where there was actually the N word was shouted out in the room and all that kind of stuff
Yes.
because the
Yes.
Tourette's sufferer, and the kind of knockback from that. I don't know whether this is true. Any of our American listeners might be able to kind of inform us about this. I have been told that Tourette's is not recognized as a condition in America.
Oh.
The other thing was I saw it didn't show up in any of the Oscar nominations, and I found out apparently it's because its release date was too late for it to be, to be able to be nominated for any Oscars. Although it did, he won. Robert Aramayo won the BAFTA, so
Yeah.
will potentially be Oscar nominatable for next year's Oscars.
Okay.
And the movie comes out in America next month on April the 24th. So I'd be very interested to see how well it goes down in America. Because
definitely. Yeah. I mean, yes, it certainly deserves some plaudits, I would say, and some recognition.
Any others you've got, Simon? I've got a couple, but
yeah, I wanted to mention again, because I think I mentioned it last time, Predator Badlands, which I watched again, and I really enjoyed it even more the second time. And the one thing I wanted to flag up that I didn't mention last time was how well they sort of immerse it into that Alien/Predator universe by having the synthetic humans in it, and the corporation that runs the synthetics is name checked heavily. And it's just, again, it struck me, it's a really good movie, and you end up almost, you're rooting for the Predator, and it's a proper story with a resolution and a very satisfying ending. And like I say, you care for the Predator character in a weird way. I just thought it was a really well put together movie that didn't need human beings in it at all, of course. So I really wanted to flag that up again. Well worth a watch. And the one thing I've been watching on TV recently is Mr. Mercedes, which is a Netflix series based on a Stephen King novel.
Okay.
Really, really good. Especially the first series, which adapts the book itself. It's got Brendan Gleeson in it, and he's just brilliant as the main character.
Yeah.
It's not horror; it's a sort of psychopath crime sort of investigation.
Okay. And what streaming channel is that on?
It's on Netflix.
Okay.
Well worth a watch. But weirdly, we got to the end of it, and it was like, "What? There's a season 2?" But hey, there's not a season 2 book. There's another book, but it's not Mr. Mercedes. So we went into season 2 with a bit like, oh, okay, let's see what they can do with this. And honestly, I wasn't as convinced by season 2.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it's still very watchable, and he's very watchable. But at the end of season 2, it's like it kind of flags up season 3, and I'm like, what you can't keep running with this. So whether there is a season 3 or that was just some kind of notice that never happened, I don't know. But yeah, certainly season 1 of Mr. Mercedes, brilliant bit of TV.
Oh, I'll check it out. Yeah. No, very good.
How about you? Any other?
Yeah, I got actually 3 films. I'll mention them really briefly. 3 films I want to mention. I went to see Epic, which is the Baz Luhrmann Elvis documentary. All from previously unseen or never before seen footage from his kind of early years when he was playing at the International Hotel in Las Vegas. So it's that period. So there is a load of footage that gives you the background, history and story of Elvis and how he kind of got to that point. It's really good. I mean,
Okay.
I was surprised how good it was, and I took Leslie, and I wouldn't have said that she was feeling that interested, but I thought, well, I'll go along. I'm sure it'll be okay. And she came out and said, "That was so good. You really get who he is in it more than you've ever done before." Fantastic footage, a lot of it quite up close, all his stage performances. Very good. I thoroughly recommend it. So that's really good. I went 2 films, oh dear. I went to see Wuthering Heights.
I warned you.
Oh my days. Well, I mean, really, I thought it was dreadful. I desperately tried to think of something that I liked about it. I mean, everybody was saying that Martin Clunes' performance in it was the standout performance of the whole movie.
Maybe that's not saying much, though,
Well, exactly.
is it?
Yeah. And he was very good. Although when you see him towards the end of his kind of time in it, all of a sudden he's got massive teeth. His teeth are just really big and wonky. It's like, well, they weren't like that. I'm sure they weren't like that earlier in the film. The best thing in it by a country mile are the 2 actors that play Kathy and Heathcliff as young. So Owen Cooper, who was in Adolescence, who's really, really good.
Yeah.
And it's the only thing for me that in the final scene saves the movie, because there was almost zero chemistry all the way through. The production design was weird. There's a whole middle section that looks like an 80s pop video. It's just mental.
We saw the trailer for it, and I just thought, that is the most appalling trailer I've ever seen.
Yeah.
As you say, it looks like one of those. You know how in the 80s pop videos they all have big hair and there's wind machines going. Yeah. It was just like, oh my god, it's an 80s pop video.
It's very odd. I mean, Emerald Fennell. Did you see Saltburn? Did you watch Saltburn?
Yes.
With Jacob Elordi and Barry Keoghan, who was in Peaky Blinders. I actually liked that. It was weird and creepy, but the characters were good. I thought the pacing was good. The cinematography was good. The weird bits were slightly disturbing, but interestingly different in terms of cinema. I thought it was really good. If she'd have made Wuthering Heights in the similar kind of style as she'd made that, I think it would have been really good. But she was obviously pushing it and decided she wanted to try and be Baz Luhrmann, I think. and just dial it up a bit. And no, it was so inconsistent all the way through.
Well, it just looked like Wuthering Heights for whatever they call the current generation of, sort of late teens.
Yeah.
And I just think, oh dear, sort of, it's gone so far from the original.
Yeah.
Which isn't a romance at all, really. It's a ghost story. It's a gothic romance at most.
Yeah.
But Wild Horses couldn't have dragged me to that.
It's very, very odd. I mean, and all this thing about, middle-aged men saying, "Oh, I didn't like it," and the return comment being, "Well, that's because you're not a 14-year-old girl and you never were." It's like, I've got a 15-year-old granddaughter. I wouldn't take her to see this. It's about abuse, most of it. It's abuse covered up with an 80s pop video.
Wow. Yeah.
Sorry, Emerald, but I'm looking forward to your next movie because I think she's great, but not this at all. It's why it's called Wuthering Heights in inverted commas.
Yes.
That's what
yeah.
Horrible. Anyway, so there was that.
Anything else before we wrap up?
Yeah, Mother's Pride.
Okay, which I don't know about.
Okay, Martin Clunes again. This is
yes.
This is one of those kind of very, very British feel-good movies, in the vein of whatever, Full Monty, Fisherman's Friend.
Yeah.
It's the same people that made Fisherman's Friend. Oh,
right.
I'm sure there's a certain age and demographic that will love this because it's so cozy. It's so British and cozy and with a nice payoff and everything, but it's painfully formulaic. It really, really is. It's like, I don't know. I mean, I found the narrative structure was really, really similar to an episode of my preschool TV show, Shane the Chef. It's really like that. There's all the setup, there's the characters, there's the oh no moments, and then the payoff, and everyone's happy, applause, the laughter, ha ha ha, fade out. It's not worth spending cinema money on. Watch it when it's on the TV on a Sunday afternoon when you've had a couple of glasses of wine, but other than that, avoid it at all costs. It's horrible.
Yep. I shall. Well, that's it. I think that's about our sort of allotted time, as usual. We've got a good number of recommendations and not so recommendations in there. So, and as always, these are our opinions.
They are our opinions. They are our opinions. But we do know. But if you don't agree, you're wrong.
Yeah, that's right. But we know a bit about storytelling.
Yeah. God love cinema. It's amazing. Good. All right, Simon. Well, that was great.
Yep.
We'll have to do another one. I don't know what we're going to talk about next time, but there we go. We'll think of something.
Yeah. Well, we'll see you back here in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, we'll see you back here for episode 43. Yeah. Wow. All right, Simon. Thank you very much. All right, everybody. Yep. Goodbye. See you soon.
Bye now.
Thank you for listening to The Rest is Giant Robots. If you enjoyed what you heard, please consider subscribing for more and maybe share with like-minded friends. This has been a Wildfur production.